right, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's episode 56, and we have a very special doubleheader today. Flautist extraordinaire Alexander Zonjic, who also, by the way, has upwards of, I lost count, 16 festivals, 19 festivals, something like that in the Midwest, but an incredible recording artist and performer, composer, etc. He is in the house with his brand new single, which has a music video, by the way, and we sat down and got a little backstory. I don't know if you know, but he spent many years in Bob James' band, and so we've got stories about that, him getting started actually on the guitar, so it's going to be so much fun, and also the incredible Tony Craddock Jr. He's back in the house for round 2. If you remember, he was here maybe about 6 months ago with his very cool tune, Staycation. Well, he's back with a new single called Magnetic. I had the honor of working on it with him, and he sounds so killer. It's a great upbeat tune for the late spring, early summer. So make sure you check it out, and you'll get a chance to hear it, him playing it live for you guys in just a second. So excited to be with you on this Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to click share, spread the good vibes, and also don't forget to follow Adam Holly Artist Page, because we're here all week with great content, and of course every Wednesday with the show. So I got to get straight to the music because we have so much to get to between Alex and Tony. We have the return of my lovely wife Kat with the Cat Cam. We've got a ton to share from my show at Seabreeze last week, and on and on. So I want to get to it. This is a tune I haven't played in about a year, if you can believe that. And it is track 1 off of album 1. Yes, we're going old school. And I have to get ready too, because I gotta play like right away. So let me get situated. Let's see. I got the guitar going here. All right, I'm gonna hit play, and then we're gonna go. Here we go. Taking it all the way back to track 1, album 1, Dance With Me, and that featured the one and only Gerald Albright on the original. Wrote that with a good buddy of mine, Andre Bowman, and man, we're just getting warmed up here. As I mentioned, we've got so much music to get to between Alex and Tony, but just want to remind you guys, if you want to help out, we make it super easy. Just click the link in the description. We've got PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. Of course, now you can do stars through Facebook, and I cannot thank you guys enough. You've been incredible week after week after week. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We make sure to commemorate you in each episode in the credits, and we put it right back into the show. As you can tell, we've been growing every week with our technology and whatnot. So we just appreciate you guys, and without further ado, hope you will enjoy some time with Alexander Zonjic and Tony Craddock Jr. All right, what's up, Alexander? How you doing today?
It's a beautiful day in Motown, I'll tell you. You guys are always bragging about your weather. We have a beautiful day here today. It's about 68. I just came in my office. I'm in Highfalutin Music today, which is my world headquarters, so to speak, in downtown Detroit. Just got my second vaccine.
Oh.
So I'm all vaccinated, and so we're doing good. We see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's a pleasure to be with you.
I'm curious, how are you feeling? Because I had the second vaccine a few days ago, and it was a doozy. Oh my goodness. How are you hanging in?
Oh, no, I just got it 2 hours ago.
Oh, so we don't know yet.
I know. What? Wait a minute, you got me curious now. I'm not like a sick to be honest with you, I've been to a doctor twice in my whole life, so getting it really didn't seem like a big deal. Was it the Moderna that you got?
So I got the Pfizer, and yeah, I had some pretty severe symptoms. I had, I was down and out for several days. Yeah.
Wow. Well, if during the course of this interview, side effects start you start looking at me, and I'm like,
then we'll know.
So yeah, if all of a sudden, middle of the interview, if I go right into a polka,
right,
the side effects are kicking in. So,
man,
far so good.
That's funny. Well, hey, it's a tradition on this show. People, they keep commenting. They love the backstories of all of the distinguished guests that have come on. So please just give us just a quick summary of why did you pick up the flute?
Have you read the story? Do you know the story?
I know the story, but the people want to know. So.
I got it. I only say this because, this is a story that in my area, because I've been doing this a long time, the story's been told so many times. You know what happens when a story gets told so many times?
It's telephone.
As if it wasn't already interesting enough. You bring up the flute, but I started on the guitar.
Yeah.
8 years old, downtown Windsor, right across the river from where I am right now. Grew up downtown. We were, I don't think we were poor. I think we had everything we needed, but we were relatively, downtown kids, hardworking parents, and a guy would go door to door doing music aptitude tests to get music students. His name was Frank Haneke. I will never forget him. And he had a music school called the Halcyon School of Music. I thought Halcyon was his last name. The Halcyon were the good days, the happy days School of Music. And so my brother started the guitar. I wasn't home when he came by. And of course, everybody passes the aptitude test. Nobody fails it. And you get a little guitar that he repaired, and the lessons were $1.50. And my brother started taking guitar lessons, and I came home, and there's the guitar, and he really wasn't, no musicians in my family when he wasn't playing that guitar, I was. And my mother, being the smart lady that she was, after about 6 months says, why does the guy who's not taking the lessons play better than the guy who's taking the lessons? And so my brother very happily said, fine, you go take them. I hate them, you know. And so I started guitar lessons at 8 years old, learning how to read a little bit, playing all these great American songbook songs and all of that stuff, not even really knowing. I just loved going to the lessons. They were $1.50. We were in a class of 20 in a class, all paying $1.50. It was really kind of cool. But I fell in love with the notion of playing the guitar. No question about it. The lessons were great. Frank was a wonderful man, but no question, fell in love with it. And then by the time I got to about grade 7, all it took was seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan.
Yeah.
And then it was over, you know, at that point. Now, I will say, I'd already started playing. I loved the Ventures. You know, remember the instrumental bands?
Yeah,
The Ventures,
of course.
Walk Don't Run. I loved the Shadows,
Yeah.
instrumental band from England. Loved Ricky Nelson. Loved that whole genre, you know, of music. And so I can remember seeing the Beatles, going to school, and because I was already known as the guy that plays the guitar, grade 7, Mr. Ramsey, my music teacher, asked me a question, and I made the worst prediction I've ever made in my whole life. To this day, I'm in grade 7. He says, so did you see the Beatles last night on Ed Sullivan, Alex? And I go, I did, Mr. Ramsey. He goes, what did you think? And I, being a jealous little guy, said to Mr. Ramsey, and I quote, Mr. Ramsey, they're not going anywhere.
Oh.
Now, you know, can I follow that up by saying I think they went somewhere, those
Yeah.
Beatle guys?
I think so, yeah.
But, you know, there's the early days. Because we're in Detroit, in Windsor, right across from Detroit, the Motown influence was just there. You fell in love with R&B, you fell in love with Motown. And that was kind of the whole progression. Joined a rock and roll band from Toronto called Crosstown Traffic. By this point, I'm 20, you know, trying to deal with being a rock star. And a guy literally recognized me as that rock guy who left Windsor and went to Toronto. I'm on the corner of Olette and Elliott, 2 streets in Windsor. And this guy, I know, I won't mention his name, I know his name. And out of the clear blue sky comes over to me and goes, aren't you that guitar player? You're, you know, and I got the big fro, and I guess I'm sort of famous at my little, well, Windsor's a pretty big city. It's a couple 100,000 people. And he's out of the clear blue sky, Adam, he says to me, would you like to buy a flute? And I go, wow, what a strange thing. And he pulls out this flute, he opens it up. I like the way it looked in the case. You know, did I have, you know, some kind of infatuation with it? No, not at that point. And he's a street merchant. Instead of a watch, it was a flute. Was it hot? Yes, it was hot. It was an Armstrong 104, a student kind of flute. And I said, well, how much do you want for it? And he says, $50. You know, I said, $50. And I look in my pocket. I got $9. I go, I've only got $9. I'll take it. Done. He took the $9. Took that thing home, and my life changed. And then comes another, you know, serendipitous thing. Just like buying the flute on the street. A friend of mine who was a trumpet player said, hey, you know, the University of Windsor, where I'm from, has a new classical studies music program, and they're auditioning students, you know, why don't you go down and audition? I go, I'm going to go down and audition. I've been playing for 8 months. I got a Rubank elementary, right? You know, so I go down there with the big hair, you know, I mean, I'm 220 pounds now. I was about 160 pounds. I was just this beanpole. And I go down there with this little student flute and my Rubank elementary book. And I walk in, and they got all the prerequisites. You know, they're asking, did I have, you know, Royal Conservatory? And I go, bought a flute off a guy on the street 8 months ago. And then I remember them saying, well, we'll give you till the end of the first semester. You know, in other words, we'll let you in. And it became obsessive at that point. Then there was a famous jazz club here, Baker's Keyboard Lounge.
Yeah, of course.
And back then, back then, to get in there was a career move. Back then, if you played, coming out of the 70s into the early 80s, you could follow Dizzy Gillespie into that role. You could follow Elvin Jones. You could follow, I saw Chet Baker there in the late 70s.
Wow.
So I get a spot at Baker's. Talk about I go, wow, I'm at Baker's. And sure enough, that first weekend that I was at Baker's, Bob James was playing at the Royal Oak Music Theater. He was really big at that point. Big. Detroit loved him. And an agent friend of mine talked Bob after his gig at the Royal Oak Music Theater into coming over to Baker's because you got to hear this kid. He's doing these Hubert Law songs. He's playing your songs. Bob, you got to come and hear this kid. And knowing Bob, I can't believe that he got talked into it. He had his 13-year-old daughter with him at the time, and they come into Baker's. I'm up there. I'm already on cloud nine. Adam, I'm playing at Baker's,
Wow.
And all of a sudden I look at these mirrors and I go, wow, it was like, it was like a religious experience. I go, that looks like Bob James. And so Bob comes into the room. I'm playing Taxi. I'm playing Westchester Lady. I'm playing Where the Wind Blows Free from Bob James 4. I'm playing all my Bob James songs, And he comes up to me after our first set and, sweetest guy in the world. He came up to that stage and said, oh man, I've been hearing about you. That's amazing. And I'm like blown away. My friend Earl Klugh happened to be in the club the same night. And Earl and Bob already knew one another. And I walk off that stage and I go sit down and I'm sitting there with Bob James and with Earl Klugh. And Bob is, all, so flattering,
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, Adam, nobody needs a flute player. Nobody puts a band together, and they're all sitting around the kitchen table. We got the bass player, we got the drummer, we got the guitar player. Nobody says who we're going to get the flute. So sure enough, Bob says to me right there, he says, I'm getting ready to do a big tour coming up in the spring. We're going to start on the West Coast. We're going to go to Japan. We're going to come back. We're going to play Carnegie Hall. I got this great band with Hiram Bullock, and I've got Barry King and all. He said, would you like to join us?
Wow.
I'm like, back in my mind, I'm thinking maybe if I just go and get them coffee, I'm cool with that. Really, I just genuinely, I'm not saying this to be glib or funny, even though it is funny. I just really didn't believe at that stage of the game that I really belonged in that company on any level. But what's wrong with that? This isn't a race we're ever going to win. Turned Highfalutin Music into a label because I'd always relied on labels. Warner Brothers, Inner City, Optimism, Heads Up, and I was all ready to do the same thing. And I said, you know what? I've never had this much time on my hands. So we turned Highfalutin Music into a label, went through that process, which was enjoyable. Had a lot of fun with the new record, made the Motor City Sway video, which I think you saw.
Man, it's killer, man.
Which was the first single. That's the closest I've ever felt to being like Martin Scorsese.
Man, no, it's like y'all were doing the most in a good way. It's killer. It's killer.
Yeah, well, we had fun. And I will say there's with humor, I knew it would be okay because I've been doing TV long enough.
Yeah.
But I think we lucked out a little bit because my friends who own the antique cars, my other friend who owns the theater, my friend who lent me the Corvette I'm driving around in, everything in there is borrowed.
Wow.
I will say on a humorous note, the people that were filming the video said, "We're not going to film you driving around Detroit in a Porsche. You better get," and of course you understand it. It's Motown. Can you imagine? So we really did have a ball doing it. The biggest surprise for me was that you could just invite people on the strength of a small instructional video, the actual dance, the Motor City Sway, that you could send that out and just generically invite people to some sites, Hart Plaza in front of the City Hall, the Motown Museum, and that they can all just show up with no choreographers or anything, start blasting the song out. I don't know if this could happen in too many cities. Maybe it could happen in LA, I don't know. But in Detroit, they just showed up, and in 5 minutes, it was like they've been rehearsing all, So those were highlights of the year.
That is wild, man.
Yeah, to see all those people having fun and the nerve that it hit was was COVID. Seeing people have a good time during such a difficult time. The nostalgia of seeing the Motown Museum in Hitsville and all the great sites of Detroit. I had so much fun doing it. It really was one of the highlights.
It's been an honor to have you on the show. I do appreciate you taking the time. And you mentioned your assistant, Phyllis, and that reminded me, just let us know where we can find you, where we can grab your records. I think we got to talk to Phyllis, right?
You can do, well, the website, there's a new website, zonjic.com, zonjic.com, zonjic if you're Canadian, zonjic.com, or you can, you'll find everything in there. There's a great YouTube channel with videos on there. I'm sure you'll be on there sooner or later from our TV show.
Awesome.
You and Phil Denny did an amazing job.
That was a blast.
It was a fun show. And then Front Row Phyllis, she's my analog way. You call Phyllis, 419-280-1073. And let me tell you how great she is. She answers the phone 2 in the morning, 5 at night. Well, it doesn't matter. She always answers. She'll sell you a ticket. She'll sell you a CD. She'll sell you a T-shirt. And she is so sweet that, Adam, people call her back 3 days later just to chit-chat.
Alexander Zonjic, and music is my passion. I'd like to share that passion with you by offering you a wonderful CD collection. You'll get Do and the D, Seldom Blues, Reach for the Sky CDs for just $29.99, and we'll give you my newest CD, Playing It Forward, for free. Kenny G, Jeff Lorber, Mesa, James Lloyd, Bob James, Chuck Loeb, just some of the great artists featured on these recordings. $29.99 plus shipping and handling for all 4 CDs. Call Phyllis, 419-280-1073, 280-1073. Get the gift of music. It'll lift your spirits.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, appreciate it, Alexander. No, this was so much fun. Make sure you go to zonjic.com or reach out to Front Row Phyllis. Thanks for coming through.
All right, what's up, Tony? Thanks so much for coming back. How you doing?
Doing outstanding, man. Thank you for having me back on the show.
Of course, of course. It was so much fun having you come through and do your tune Staycation, and you had a killer music video. So you're back with a new single. Tell us about it. It's called Magnetic.
Right. So you and I worked on this single last year, recorded it in the spring, but I held on to it for a little while until I felt like it was the right time to release it. And the single is essentially about my purpose journey of creating uplifting music. I've known it for a while, but within the past 2 years, I've really been laser focused on embracing that in its fullness. And the title Magnetic comes from my belief that all of us have this magnetic force on our life, on the inside of us, that's pulling us towards our purpose. It's just a matter of us being obedient to that force and either following it, or sometimes we work against it and we have to find our way back to it. So it's just kind of about my journey, and hopefully folks can relate to that message of following their calling, their purpose. And yeah, that's what it's about. And last spring, you know, the pandemic was weighing down on us. So it really hit home because I had to really focus on my Christian faith, the magnetic force in my life, to keep me motivated and inspired to continue creating music. So really hits close to home, and I'm hoping that it does the same for you all.
Wow, that's so fascinating. You know, we had talked a lot about this tune and the title. I remember at one point it was called True North. But I love how in depth you think about it, because for me, it's hard coming up with titles for instrumental music. But you obviously had a fully realized idea for this, which is so cool.
Yes, so let's stick there for a second, because I remember working through that. And usually when I find a title, whether it's a song or an album, it comes to me, I think about it for a little while, and I stick with it. This was one of the few times where I actually changed course on the title, because I appreciated your feedback, and I got feedback from a couple other folks that the title made sense, but it didn't quite match the energy of the song. It's a really upbeat, uplifting song, and you were like, True North sounds a little more contemplative, a little more pensive. So I took that to heart, and I'm like, you know, he's right. So Magnetic, I was thinking, how could I stay true to the meaning of the song, but come up with a title that embodied the energy of the song? And, you know, True North is a compass. That's how compasses are, you know, oriented, focusing on the true north. And I thought, well, compasses work off of the Earth's geomagnetic field. So I said, oh, magnetic, that sounds better. It's still true to the true north concept. So that's how we got there. So there's so many different levels I go through as I'm thinking about the song titles And all of my songs are like that. I could have a 30-minute conversation about the theme or the meaning or symbolism behind each of my songs. So,
man, that's incredible. Well, you're way ahead of me intellectually, because I'm just like, what do I call this? So that's awesome, man. That's
stop, man! You have a doctorate in musical art. Cut it out.
Yeah, but not in literature. So the music, I got the music handled. What do I call it? That's another story. But for those of you watching, if you didn't catch last time Tony was on, Tony is a Renaissance man. I mean, you tell us a little bit again about your background, because you're an enthusiast in terms of weather and I feel like I'm not explaining this as well as I could. Take it away. I know you know what I'm talking about.
I'll try to keep it short. So I fell in love with weather at the age of 8, watching the Weather Channel, local on the 8s. Some of you all might be familiar with that back from the 90s and the 2000s.
Of course, and they had incredible music on there too, man. I mean,
oh yeah, smooth jazz music really caught my attention. The saxophone is the premier instrument in smooth jazz. I know you play guitar, but saxophone is number one.
Hey, hold on.
So after hearing the smooth jazz, it inspired me to pick up the saxophone in 6th grade. But as that love for music was growing, my love for weather continued to evolve as well. And I actually went on to Cornell University to earn a Bachelor of Science in Atmospheric Science. And that journey connects to magnetic as well, because at one point I thought my purpose was to become a meteorologist. Turns out the purpose was to use meteorology and my understanding of weather as a tool to connect with people through music and share the symbolism of the songs, illustrate the essence of the songs, and hopefully connect them with God as well. So after I graduated, I founded my independent music label, Cold Front Music, in 2011, released my debut album, a Christmas album, and then 2 years later connected with Ken Navarro, who was featured on my next album, produced my album after that, H2O. And I knew about Ken Navarro from growing up through, guess what? The Weather Channel. So it all connects. So you can start off on one path, but you just have to be constantly aware of how that magnetic force, like I said, is kind of working in your life. And you might start off in one direction, but you might go off in another, and that's okay. You just have to be obedient to where your life is leading.
Wow, incredible. Well, you definitely put that better than I could have, but we've talked about it enough. We got to hear the tune. So ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoy Tony Craddock Jr. with Magnetic. Awesome, man. So killer. I had so much fun working on that with you and brought back some great memories. So before we get out of here, you've been very active in the virtual world. I know you've got a live stream coming up this Friday and a TBD event that I'm going to get to jump on as well. So take it away. Tell us about what you have coming up.
Yes. So on Friday, I'm going to be featured on Cat Carter Live. Amazing live stream show that streams on Facebook and YouTube. So check it out Friday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be sharing information about it on my page. Essentially, an inspirational show highlighting inspirational music. And if you like the discussion that Adam and I just had about, the themes behind my music, we'll be digging more in depth into that on Cat Carter Live. And then also I have a live stream coming up where I'm celebrating the release of the single. Yours truly, Adam Hawley, is going to be featured with me as a special guest. So we'll be playing Staycation, Magnetic, and some of Adam's tunes as well. So look out for that. Still working on scheduling that. But if you tune into my page, you'll be able to see the latest on that as well.
Awesome. And just give us that information, your website and social media so we can find that because we want to make sure to tune in.
Yes, sir. Website, TonyCraddockJr.com, and all my social media handles, you can find me at Tony Craddock Jr.
Perfect, man. Well, fascinating. Thanks so much for the backstory and for the performance. And thanks for coming back, Tony. Appreciate you.
No, the honor's all mine. Thank you for having me, and just thank you for being a great guy to work with. And I consider you a friend, too. Hope I can say that.
No question, man. Though the pleasure is all mine, and you're a talented cat. So it's been such a blast working with you. So thanks for dropping in.
Oh, yes. Tony Craddock Jr. with Magnetic. So awesome. Appreciate you, Tony, for coming through. And thank you so much to Alexander Zonjic as well. And I have another special guest. Rufus is back in the house. There he is. He just got groomed today. So he is looking coiffed and ready to rumble. He wanted to come say hi real quick. Say hi, Rufy. We can't go too many weeks without showing off Rufus, our family dog. And he's doing better. In case you guys were wondering, he was leaving some presents there for us for a while, but although there was one earlier this week, but that's a whole other matter. Anyways, it's time to bring in my lovely wife. We missed her so much last week. And so, without further ado, here she is with the cat cam. Bam!
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm okay today.
You look so lovely.
Do I? Thank you.
We missed you, and I already have a lot of appreciation for my lovely wife, but I have even more so because it was so hard trying to keep track of all the comments. The comments are just flipping through. You don't want to miss anybody. You don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah.
And so I think I only got like 3 comments in last week. So we're so happy that you're back.
Thank you.
And I'm sure people are wondering, how are you feeling? How's it coming along with the vaccine? This is is this day 7 or day 8?
Day 8.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let them know. Enough of me talking about how you're doing.
Day 8. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am going through it. I'm still feeling quite terrible. But today was the first day that I can actually walk around. I actually made a meal. Some of my symptoms were just very mild at first. I had a slight fever, a little bit of sore arm, not too much. And then the second day I started getting chills, but then I had body aches for 3 days. What else did I have? Oh, I had extreme fatigue. And then the third day, my arm just randomly in the night felt like somebody was literally sawing it off. And my whole arm was swollen. My hand was swollen. My fingers, I had to take my wedding ring off. It was just bad. And I had to put 3 ice packs on it. And I've been having headaches every day. So it's not so much that the symptoms are extremely severe. It's just that I'm having the moderate symptoms, but all day for a lot of days.
Yeah.
But I have an autoimmune disease, so my body is already very sensitive to a lot of illnesses, and it's very easy for me to catch something and get sick. And if I do get sick, it is prolonged. So I'm betting that it's just that I'm doing a little longer of the suffering. But, you know, whatever we're feeling after the shot is like way better than having actual COVID. So
Yeah, and it's interesting. You touched on something that is kind of, it's just different for each person. So I had probably twice as worse of symptoms as you, but it only lasted a day, and then the next 2 days were similar to what you're experiencing now, and then it was gone.
Yeah,
So,
Adam had a really bad reaction.
Oh yeah, I had fever, chills, vomiting, nausea. It was really terrible. And then the next day was a lot of the fatigue and the chills, and then next day a little better, and then by day 4 back to normal. So,
and one of my cousins, she felt a little fatigue after her first shot, and the second shot she's like completely fine. And she got hers the second day, or the day after I did. And her second day, I said, "How are you feeling?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm fine. I feel great." Which it does. Some people do get a burst of energy from it. And I did feel a little energized after my first one.
Yeah.
But the second,
yeah, Nancy Stack was asking which one was it. So it was the second, as you just said. And,
and we all got Pfizer in the house.
Pfizer.
So,
We're
and
the
I
Pfizer
saw
family.
so many people commenting on their experiences and like excited to go out, blah, 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 which is great. I'm so happy that so many people are taking one for the team and getting vaccinated for our health and to like move forward. But we do have to remember we are still in a pandemic. We're not post-COVID. So still be very careful. Even though our vaccinations, depending on which one you got, is between 90 and 95% effective, you still can get sick. I mean, we know that we're not going to die with the vaccine, but we still can get very sick. We still have to be careful because, I mean, it's still very new.
Yeah.
And so just don't get too lax with your vaccine.
No question. Well,
but thank you guys so much for checking in on me.
No, and so glad you're feeling a little better. You're not 100%, but she's a trooper. She's hanging with us today. And I'm just glad for myself, too. So I'm not trying to keep track of... you are a saint keeping track of the comments. So I was stressing last week. I was like, oh,
You
my
were?
God. Yeah. Well, speaking of which, what are people saying out there? What's the vibe?
Well, the vibe, so many people were, first of all, commenting on Seabreeze. A lot of people caught you live at Seabreeze. A lot of people were watching video that people were putting up on Facebook. And then, of course, a lot of the photos. So people were loving that. So many people said that they saw you. And so let me see.
It was a blast. And I have some photos to share. Seabreeze just put up the official photos from the festival a little bit earlier today. So I'm going to share those in a second.
So Eric Christian said, awesome show at Seabreeze. Cecilia Maldonado said your show with Lindsay Webster at Seabreeze was fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Leon and Willie Lee, they were just saying how phenomenal your show was and how interactive you were with the audience and how you had everyone up dancing and on their feet.
Hey, you know, I like to have a good time. And this was literally the first show. And I had done some live stream events with a band. But it was the first time with an audience in 14 months, other than, of course, you lovely ladies and gentlemen watching each week. But in terms of an audience in person, this was the first time in 14 months. So I was excited. It was a lot of fun. And it was so great to jam with Lindsay. She was just incredible. And we had a blast Friday night. And it was an awesome time slot, too. The sun was going down. We got the lights going at the towards the end of the set. So it was fun.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know. I would say I wish I was there, but I wasn't really trying to travel.
Right.
But Seabreeze is always fun. And how was the condos? Because didn't the condos
We switched up. So normally we're in condos and we're on the beach and it's fun. But you know what? It was different this year. There's a new hotel that just got built, and we were in just kind of a traditional regular hotel. I think it was I forget the name of it, but it was just like regular hotel, and it was cool. It was very, very clean, brand new, and so I enjoyed it. I mean, it's nice being on the beach, but on the other hand, it was just a very no-brainer.
Well, I was
Get your room key, go to the room.
I think like 3 years ago, weren't some condos destroyed from a hurricane?
Yeah.
Was it 3 years ago or 4?
It was a few years ago, and I don't know if that affected why we were in the hotel or not. But yeah. Anyways, it was a little different vibe, but it was fun. The cool thing about it is everyone that was playing in the festival, pretty much, almost everyone was at the hotel. So we'd run into each other in the lobby. I saw everybody in the lobby. Paul Jackson Jr., Jeff Lorber, Paul Taylor, Michael Linkton, Eric Darius. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it was kind of fun just seeing everybody there in the lobby.
Mm-hmm. That's so cute.
Yeah.
And then when you were playing your first song, Dance With Me, when you opened the show, so many people, I saw like so many dancing emojis and fire emojis.
Yeah.
And Steve Hall said, I love this track.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Well, Steve mastered that and everything else I've released, and I would say 99% of the music I've produced for all the incredible artists I've been working for. So yeah, that's a throwback. That got mastered back in 2015, came out in 2016, and I haven't played it on this show in easily a year. I think it was very early on in AH Live, so I figured to dust it off and get us started with that today.
And Aaron D. Santee, he said, nice tune.
Oh.
And that was Elle Young on background vocals.
Elle Young was singing, and Gerald Albright. You didn't hear him today, but if you go check out the original, he's taking the solo there in the middle. So yeah, that's a tune off the first record.
And then you said you wrote it with
my
Andre.
good friend Andre Bowman, and I met him in LA, and we've done a ton of stuff together. Backstreet Boys, Fifth Harmony. He's currently with Lady Gaga. He was with Usher for a long time, so really talented guy. And yeah, we connected on that track.
And he was at the inauguration with Lady Gaga.
He was,
so that was
yeah.
really cool to see all his pictures.
Yeah, so he runs playback for Lady Gaga, which means he runs the computer for her with all of the stems, backing tracks, etc. And he's been doing that with her for quite a while. And so he's pretty much at every event that you see Lady Gaga, he's over there hitting play on the computer. Yeah.
Andre, he's super cool.
Yep.
Okay, so do you want to go to your interviews?
Yeah, well, we also have a birthday I want to make sure to get to.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I wonder, did they get together because they have similar birthdays? Probably not. It's probably coincidence. But Juanita Canley, happy birthday to you. It was your husband's birthday last week. We wished him a happy birthday. Her birthday is this Saturday. So hope you have an amazing weekend and an awesome birthday.
Happy birthday, guys.
I don't know how that works. Do y'all just do the party together or you just keep it rolling?
Well, yeah, and that's kind of like us. We're kind of like, we're a few years apart, but my birthday is August 7th, and then Adam's birthday.
What are you trying to say? We're a
February 7th.
A few years apart. You trying to say I'm old?
No, but you are older than me.
Older but not old. Okay, you just threw that out. I was like, dang.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Anyways, no, but yeah, hope you all have an awesome celebration. So yeah, what were people saying about Alexander and Tony?
Okay, well, first of all, Alexander, can I just say how much I love that music video?
Oh,
and
the music
I don't
video was
think
killer.
That I'm alone. So many people were throwing up their hearts, throwing up their smile and dance emojis. I mean, it just was amazing. And so many people were saying how they missed home. There were a few people, I guess, that are from Michigan or from the Detroit area. And they were saying, oh my goodness, this video reminds me of home. Some people were saying that it just brought back so many memories, especially seeing like the landmarks, museums, and the street signs. It was really, really cool. I thought that was an awesome video. And I loved all the people dancing, because just like he said it came at a time where people needed something to bring them together and a reason to smile. And you see all the people dancing and having a good time, and some people had their mask on but still enjoying themselves, and so that was really nice. It made me smile.
What's wild is they were all volunteers, and as he mentioned, he just sent out an instructional video. Here's the dance steps. Show up at this time at this place. And man, it's just a testament to Alexander, just his following, and he really is a fan favorite there. And man, it turned out awesome. And you guys did spot some celebrities in the band as well. James Lloyd from Pieces of a Dream was in there, and he also did the track for Alexander. And Justin Schultz, the phenomenon. I think he might be 14 now, but I think he was 13 when they did that video, and doing the vocoder, and he's just such an incredible talent. So yeah, they're killing it.
Yeah, and I was so impressed too with the band because
Yeah.
they were dancing with their instruments, just
And-
having like a good time.
Yeah, and that was Justin's sister on drums. So it's family affair over there.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so cool. I know. I was like, oh, look at the girl drummer. I love girl drummers.
And she can play, by the way. We all got together and jammed with Alexander at his festival a couple summers ago, and man, both of them are just incredible. So, yep.
And then when he was going just through all of his stories, like playing with at Baker's Lounge in Detroit, and just
we
all
played
of-
there.
Yeah,
Do you
with
remember?
Phil.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with Phil Denny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much history. The oldest jazz club in the world, literally. And they got some good food there, too.
They do have really good food, and I saw a few people saying, about their safety in Detroit.
Yeah.
Well, when we were at Baker and Adam had a show with Phil, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go outside and call Adam Jr. And I think it was probably like 8 or 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And Phil, he grabbed my arm and he's like, Kat, take my keys and go sit in my car. I was like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. But
I was like, okay.
I hear that I have some friends that live, obviously, Alexander and Phil, but some other friends too, and they say it's coming along and it's been improving a little bit each year. So really glad to hear that, because it's got so much history there. Outside of music, but then also within music, obviously Motown, but just
Right.
so many amazing musicians in the history of music, but also currently. So definitely glad
Well,
to hear
that's
that
how I
it's
feel about
regenerating.
downtown LA. Like,
When
if
I
you've
moved,
never been
yeah.
to downtown LA, it is.
Don't start. No, I'm kidding. It's gotten a lot better.
It's not what you would think. However, there's just so much history and there's so much culture, art, food. It's just amazing. But as a lot of people know, here in SoCal, especially LA, we just have a homelessness problem, and it's kind of just taken over everywhere. And a lot of the money that the city has, they don't put to downtown, they kind of put in other places. So a lot of independent owners and fashion designers and whatever, they're kind of like taking over
Yeah.
the arts and food district in downtown. But I mean, it's like really, really grown, especially by USC, because when Adam was at USC, we had what? Subway
Yeah.
and Chipotle and Coffee Bean.
But it's been a while. It's been almost
Now
20
there's
years.
so much stuff.
Yeah, it's been almost 20 years since I moved to LA, so it's grown quite a bit. 2002, I moved down here when I was a wee little Adam.
Wee little.
17. All right, what about Tony Craddock? What were they saying about Tony?
Craddock. So many people were saying, wow, he has such an interesting story. Lori Erickson, when he was playing his song, what was his song called again?
So the new song is Magnetic.
Magnetic. So Lori Erickson said, awesome song, so smooth. Dave Fritz says he has a very good sax tone.
Yeah.
And his sound is not like everyone else's, and it's a really good sound.
No, he's great. On his first tune that we did with him, Staycation, he played soprano, sounded killer. And on Magnetic, man, he killed it. And so excited about him. Check out the track. It's so awesome. Of course, he mentioned TonyCraddockJr.com. You can check it out. And just wishing you all the best, Tony. Appreciate you for coming back. Round 2. That's
I
what's kind of cool
know.
about the show now that we're in year 2. We're having some people come back. Maybe they were here 8 months ago, 9 months ago, and kind of catching up and seeing what they're up to now. So, great to see Tony again. So we have a bunch of pictures to share with you guys that I want to make
do?
sure to get to. Yeah. So let's switch on over to that. So first, well, I'll let you take this, Kat, because I believe you have a friend of yours that just got married in Hawaii. So go ahead, take the wheel.
So I think I told you guys all a few weeks ago, one of my really, really good friends, she and her fiance, now husband, they were thinking of moving to Hawaii, and they're both working from home right now, and their 2 little girls you see in the photo, they're not in school yet, and so they just took this opportunity to go to Hawaii for a month, and they decided while they're there to just go ahead and get married, because they've been engaged for a little over a year, and then of course with the pandemic in 2020, they couldn't have a regular ceremony. So they got married last Friday and in Hawaii. And it was just them, their 2 little girls, the officiant and the photographer. And they got to choose whatever beach they wanted to go to and like wherever on the beach. And that's their wedding.
So
and it's just
beautiful.
so beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
And
wow.
her little girl, they said she almost ran in the ocean at one point, while they were saying their vows.
That is too
but
funny.
it's just so beautiful. Look at them.
It's gorgeous. So
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
They said that they, either next year or later on this year when it's safe, they're going to have, a party for everyone to celebrate with them. They're thinking at one of the wineries in Temecula, but they said, we're not in any rush at this point, just whenever it's safe. And, we can plan something for everyone to get together. So we are just so happy for them. That's Amaranth. And Amaranth and I actually went to the same high school and graduated the same year. Yeah. And then my friend Alexis. So.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. No, it looks fantastic. Okay, so back to our domicile. As you know, we are efforting to do a little bit something each week. So what happened this morning was getting a pool table. It's something that Adam Jr. has been wanting for a long time, something I've wanted. And we have this really cool loft area on the 2nd floor. And so they came and put it together today. So here is the before and after. That's when they first brought the legs and the frame up the stairs. Here they are assembling it. It was in a million pieces. I'm glad I didn't have to do this. And here they are. It's coming together, and bam! There it is. And Adam Jr. picked out all of it. He picked out the table. He wanted that blue color. They call it tournament blue. There's another view. And so me and Bubby, little Adam, we've been playing all day and having a blast with it on his breaks from school.
Yeah.
And it's been so much fun. So that's what happened today. Our loft is starting to take shape. I think we're going to hang the TV up on the wall and just kind of declutter a little bit. And then we're going to make it kind of a man cave and kind of get like a... put an arcade in there and just kind of have it be a hang,
right? One arcade game machine.
Yeah, exactly.
And Adam Jr. wants it to be like totally retro arcade-like. So he's already got like some ideas of what he wants painted on the wall and decorations and just kind of get some stuff going on. So it looks stark right now because nothing else is in there, but. We'll show you photos when it gets to the man/teen cave.
But definitely the centerpiece is there now, so we'll be able to build around the table. So so that's what happened this morning. And then, as you know, Lindsay Webster and I were rocking Seabreeze last week. So Seabreeze just put up these pictures. If you want to check out, this is a handful of them, but if you want to check them all out, it's on Seabreeze's official Facebook page. But it was such a blast rocking with Lindsay. She killed it. The audience was awesome. I could see a lot of you guys in the comments. You were there hanging out. And so it was so much fun to get back out and just play. Incredible band. Chris Mescal, who's been with Brian Culbertson forever, drummer. Chris Snowden on bass. And Jay Rowe on keyboards. And plenty of guitar faces from me. I can never go too long without making a guitar face. But it was so much fun. Oh, I got some air right there. Not as much as Eric Darius, but they caught me when I did my jump at the end of the tune.
Well, so. I mean, you do have a larger piece of instrument you're holding. Right,
exactly. No, that's true. That's true. Oh, and then we have one more bonus to share with you guys in terms of the kitchen. We've been getting that remodeled, and we got. Well, I'll let you take it away. Explain it. What did we get?
Okay, well, I thought I would be done with the cabinets, but I'm not since I've been sick. So the cabinets are not done yet, and I still haven't even, selected a color yet. I still have like 8 swatches on the existing cabinets, but the backsplash is up, and the new countertops have been swatched out. So that's that. But we got this really cool feature, and it is a pot filler.
Yes, and
if you don't know what a pot filler is, we have a video.
Right, here we go.
So I have a pot filler here. So if I'm making pasta or anything with boiling water, I don't have to take the pot to the sink and put it together. I just get my water from here. Ta-da! So amazing. Let me turn it off. Push it back. And boom.
All right. I think after that video, you need your own show on HGTV or
Oh my
something.
gosh,
You
be quiet.
Or at least a hand model.
At least
And
a hand
now,
model.
and you've got all the moves.
It's so amazing, and it's kind of something that just was thrown at the last minute. I mean, it wasn't something in my initial plan for the kitchen, but it makes total sense because not that I eat pasta a lot, but there are a lot of things that you need boiling water for.
Yeah.
And so with the pot, you know, carrying it from the sink over to the stove. I mean, I know I've spilt water before. I don't know how many of you, but it's just definitely a nice little luxury thing in the kitchen. So.
And our birthday girl, Juanita Canley, she says, "I'm so jealous of the pot filler." Lori Erickson says, "Nice demonstration. See, you might have a future on HGTV."
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, they do need a little bit more melanin on HGTV.
Oh,
so.
and Pyson says hello. She's tuning
Hi,
in
Pyson!
all the way from Singapore, and a vocalist extraordinaire.
Yeah.
And also, she's married to our very dear friend and saxophonist extraordinaire, Daniel Chia. So what's up, Pyson? Hope you're doing well.
Guys.
So, Mike Brown, Mike and Crystal, he said, "We're available for dinner. Just let us know. We'll bring the vino." Hey, we got the pot filler.
Althea
You got the
McMillan.
wine. We got the pot filler.
Right? Althea McMillan says, "I see you with the pot filler, Cat. Your kitchen is coming together and it's going to be awesome." Thank you.
Yeah, and that's one nice thing about the pandemic is we kind of just do a little bit each week. We're not in a huge rush. We're not having a whole bunch of, we're not having this huge house party anytime soon. So it's kind of nice to just kind of like, you know, massage it over time and see it come together. So it's definitely taking shape.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was so funny because today when the guys came for the pool table, first of all, they showed up to the door maskless, and Adam was
Wow.
like, "Do you guys have a mask?" And they were like, "Oh no." So we had to give them masks. And but anyways, he's like, "Yeah, so you know, you guys can have a housewarming party now." And I was just like, "Oh." Like, I don't, who's having parties right now?
Yeah, a lot
I
of-
mean,
a
you
lot
can
of
have
people.
vaxxed parties, you know, of like 10 people or less. But I was just
Yeah.
like, what world are you living in, sir?
Right. Well, yeah. What can you do? But they knew how to put the table
They
together.
put that table together. They did.
Adam Jr. and I can attest they worked it out. Well, hey, we're gonna have to get to Ask Adam next week because
Okay.
we had so much to get to today. But thank you, honey, for powering
You're
through and making
welcome.
it. Everyone missed you, and they missed you at Seabreeze too. So glad we could have you today on AH Live.
Thanks. All right. Bye, guys.
All right, and it is that time to let you guys know what's happening next week, and I'm so excited. We've got another doubleheader. The incredible pianist Nicholas Cole. He's an amazing artist that has many hits, many albums, many incredible songs, and you guys have been asking for him for quite a while, and I was finally able to wrangle him. So he'll be here next Wednesday, May 5th, and I mentioned it's a doubleheader. Saxophonist extraordinaire. He's going to be new to you guys. His name is Jason Jackson, but he is an incredible player. You will grow to really enjoy his playing because he honed his skills in the Navy band. He's an incredible player. He also studied with Eric Marienthal. I had the distinct honor of producing an EP for him. It's called Moving On. It's coming out in a few weeks, but the new single just came out. He's #1 most added amongst the Billboard top songs. I believe #3 most added on Billboard this week. So he's got a really cool song out that features Julian Vaughn. So excited to share some amazing music with you guys next week. Nicholas Cole and Jason Jackson. So don't miss it. And just one more reminder, if you want to help us out, you can click that link in the description. I've been seeing you guys pop up with the stars throughout the episode. And of course, you can do PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. You can also get to my website through that link as well if you wanted to pick up a CD. So thank you guys so much. And I'm going to sign off with you guys with a tune that I cut my teeth on many moons ago. I debuted it maybe 2 months ago, and I figure I bring it back. It's so much fun. It's from Spyro Gyra, and it's called Shaker Song. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was so much fun hanging out with you guys on a Wednesday. Thanks again to Alexander Zonjic and Tony Craddock Jr. for coming through, and we have another doubleheader next week with Nicholas Cole and Jason Jackson. I hope you have an amazing evening. Thanks for hanging out on AH Live, and hope to see you next week. Have a good night.